Mark, when did you first get interested in science?
I have been interested in biology and in living things since I was a little boy. I was interested in plants, insects, and like any other little boy, in fish and fishing. Eventually, when I started going to school and started studying biology, I became interested in diseases.
Besides work, do you have time for hobbies?
Of course, I have lots of hobbies like fishing. I still go fishing.
Per eżempju bħassajt għadni mmur nistat. Pero l-iktar passatemp illi ili nagħmel mindu kont żgħir huwa.
The hobby I have been practicing since I was young, and I still practice regularly, is the Japanese martial art of Aikido. I used to practice with my son, who is 10 years old. We trained together for 2 years.
Konna nittrenjaw flimkien, għamilna sentejn nittrenjaw flimkien.
What is your level in Aikido?
At the moment I have a 3rd dan, which in Japanese means I wear a black belt at the 3rd grade.
Nkun ċintorin iswed, black belt, li qiegħed fuq il-gradi.
What can you tell us about the difference between living in Malta and in Japan?
The Japanese culture is obviously very different from the European culture. The most striking difference, which you would notice immediately, is food. Over there, food is based on rice, and in Malta it's based on bread, potatoes, and things like that. There are also differences in the level of studying, and obviously also the language, which is very different from ours. But if you succeed in learning the language to a certain extent and understanding the cultures of the country, I would say that the difference between Europe and Japan is not enormous.
What do you miss about Malta?
The thing I miss most is obviously my family, but I also miss the food and I miss the beautiful sea we have here in Malta.
Now that you've been working in science for the past 20 years, what do you recommend to our viewers who are interested in science?
The one thing I would tell everybody, young and old, is that the important thing is not to get discouraged. I was never discouraged when I went to a faraway country with a different culture. If the language and the culture didn't discourage me, anybody can do it. I tell our viewers that they will make it if they are ambitious and they don't get discouraged. They will achieve even more than I did.
Ikunu ambizzjużi u ma jaqtawx qalbhom jaslu ħafna u mhux daqsi iktar minni.
Now we're in a clinical pharmacology laboratory. Mark, where are you working and what type of research are you currently working on?
Bħalissa qiegħed naħdem f'post ismu Ibaraki.
I'm currently working in a place called Ibaki in Japan, which is in the country. And the type of work we're doing now is research on medicinals, which are given to animals. When I say animals, I mean everyday animals like dogs and cats, also pigs, cows, horses, and also fish.
You have been a scientist for the past 20 years. What kind of research have you done over that time?
I graduated as a pharmacist, but my first job involved research for the forensic laboratory in Malta with the police. I spent some time with the police, and after that I got interested in cancer research. I went to Japan and carried out research on breast cancer and on leukemia, which is a cancer of the blood.
Il-kanser ta' sider, għamiltu kol riċerka fuq il-leukemia li hija ġifieri kanser ta' dem. I
did research work on other types of cancers which are common. I worked in different environments, both industrial and also at the universities. Along the years I've discovered certain things, some of which are minor but others which were not so minor. For example, we discovered materials which even could be used for the cure of cancer, especially for blood cancer.
U wkoll dawna pubblikajna ħafna x-xogħol tagħna f'ġurnali internazzjonali u wkoll ġibna.
We published our work on international magazines. We also acquired international patents for our work. When I say patents, I mean that our work is recognized all over the world and only we can develop those materials together with those who collaborate with us scientifically.
Il-postijiet li jikkollaboraw magħna xjentifikament.
Can you give us more details about the research you are working on?
We are currently working on the prevention of animal diseases by vaccinating them. When we give certain medicines to animals, we have to make sure that the medicine goes directly to the organ where it should go. For instance, the lungs or the liver.
Ġina waslet, per eżempju, fil-pulmun jew fil-fwiet,
We have instruments, like for example the one behind me, which allows us to take sample of the animal's blood and check if we have the necessary levels of medicine in the blood or the lungs or the liver, as I have explained.
Iġa tal-mediċina jew fid-demm jew inkella pereżempju fil-pulmun jew fil-fluid kif għadni kif spjegajt.